Chapter 9. Relevance. The French Revolution bears testimony, not so much to the power of the subversive forces of revolution as to the moral failure of the Royalists. Otto J. Scott, in Robespierre, The Voice of Virtue, has called attention to the great volume of pornography which preceded the Revolution, and to the immense rise of prostitution, gambling, spiritualism, occultism, black masses, sadism, fetishism, and perversions of all kind, all parading under the banner of human liberty. The law of God was despised, and a new doctrine of law was taking form, summed up later by Robespierre in the statement, quote, "The people are the law," end quote. At the same time, a vitriolic attack was mounted against the Church and Christianity. The Church at the time had grown soft because so much Enlightenment thinking had infiltrated both Catholic and Huguenot ranks. Churchmen, eager to curry favor with the intellectuals of the day, were ready to parrot every assault on Christian morality and culture and gain intellectual respectability thereby. Those who maintained the forms of orthodoxy were too pietistic to involve themselves in the affairs of their times. As a result, they became easy victims. The parallel to our time is very real. Then as now, the problem is the same: the weakness of the forces of Christianity, their retreat into irrelevance. The public agenda today is largely set by the left, by our modern forces for the war against Christianity. It is orchestrated by the servants of this establishment and echoed by the press. However, bad as the secular press is, the church press is worse. It is an echo chamber for every evil force. The secular press is somewhat restrained by fear of libel suits, but the so-called Christian press counts on the fact that most Christians avoid lawsuits with religious publications. As a result, modernist and evangelical publications give themselves to vindictive and libelous remarks without restraint. But this is not all. There is a bankruptcy of Christian thinking. The implications of the faith go disregarded and undeveloped. People want pap in their church services, not solid food. Early in the 1970s, I spoke in a church in a Midwestern state, a center of old-fashioned faith. The most powerful pastor in the area came to hear me and walked out in agitation. The local pastor stopped him to ask why he was so upset. Nothing I said disagreed with his own stance. The old pastor said, quote, "Yes, but he says it differently," end quote. For him, true preaching had to echo the language of the 17th century. He was irrelevant to his own time, and both he and his congregation loved the safety of irrelevance. But there is no safety in irrelevance, only death. Peoples and churches that seek personal peace and piety above serving God and making the crown rights of Christ our King relevant to our day are headed for the graveyards of history. There is no more peaceful place than a cemetery. Quote, "Wherefore he saith, Awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light." End quote. Ephesians 5:14.